Now, last year, 9-year-old cystic fibrosis sufferer Lewis Walker came onto this programme as he asked the former Prime Minister, Theresa May, to help him and thousands of others access this life-changing drug, Orkambi.
Dear Mrs Hunt, you have the medicine that can make me feel much better and not have to spend so much time in hospital. Please sell it to my country. If your son had cystic fibrosis, I know you would understand and lower the price of Orkambi. Thank you. Lewis Walker, aged 8.
The NHS did make an offer in July, which for the NHS they said it was the largest ever financial commitment for a rare disease.
Yeah.
But it's still not enough to secure the drug.
But he had no luck with that initial letter, and so Lewis decided to write to Labour leader Jeremy Corbyn, who vowed to take on his fight.
And you know what? Seems to have worked. After reaching a deal with pharmaceutical company Vertex yesterday, just yesterday, the NHS announced that this drug is going to be made available to patients within the next 30 days.
And Lewis and his mum, Christina, join us now alongside Jeremy Corbyn. Hello to you all. Hello, three of you. Now, this is fantastic news, first of all, isn't it? You must be a very happy boy because you put a lot of personal effort into this, isn't it? All these letters.
Yes.
Are you glad you don't have to write any more letters?
Yes.
That was the first thing he said, wasn't it? He said, I don't have to write any more of these blooming letters. Yeah. Well done. I mean, tell us about the drug. We've been campaigning for this thing as well, actually, for quite some time. Well, we've been involved with the CF for many, many years. And it just seemed ridiculous that it was there and it could do the job that it could do, but we couldn't get hold of it. Thank you, Mr Corbyn, for helping to make that possible. It was a big achievement. Tell us about the drug and why, for the first time, we've got something that makes a big difference with CF.
Yeah, so as you know, cystic fibrosis, genetic condition, and up until these drugs were invented, there was nothing that could change the course of that.
And what does it change? How does it help?
It affects at a molecular level, so the fault that exists in cystic fibrosis is largely corrected. So that means the body's working more normally.
Not cured, but corrected.
Yeah. Less of the thick, sticky mucus that is the problem with CF, so fewer chest infections, fewer hospitalisations, and other things that seem to be, you know, I know kids that are on it, they get a better appetite, they've got more energy.
Yeah. And, well, I mean, you haven't had the opportunity to try it yet, have you, Lewis? You're just waiting for it. Is it going to take about a week, apparently?
Well, they said they can prescribe after 30 days, so we're hoping it's going to be the best Christmas present ever.
Yeah. So what do you expect? I mean, it will make you feel as if you've got more breath. You're not as out of puff as you normally are. Is that right?
Yes.
And that will help you at school? To play with your friends and stuff like that.
And also, you won't have to go through these morning rituals of banging on the back and getting to cough up the phlegm. All of that will be much reduced, won't it?
Well, we'll have to do that for a while, but it won't get any worse. And hopefully, in time, we're hearing it is less. You know, the burden is lessening for people over time. Yeah.
Mr Corbyn, it was scandalising, wasn't it, to hear that this drug was out there and the company concerned simply wouldn't drop the price. It was going to cost about £100,000 a year for each patient, which just seemed ludicrous for a tablet, basically. Absurd. At what level did you get involved in this campaign?
Well, Christina wrote to me in August, I think it was, and I get many letters on many things, but I was really moved by her letter and by Lewis's condition, and also the injustice of it, because it is a drug that has been developed, and it's very good, apparently, and obviously we hope it works. But it seemed to me that we are rationing drugs on the NHS because of the cost of them, and the cost of them is largely dictated by big pharmaceutical companies who can essentially charge what they like.
Because they've cornered the market.
They've got the entire market on it. And so I took the case up, wrote to the government and the company as well. And
you raised it at the Labour conference as well?
Indeed, I spoke about it at Labour Party conference and I met Lewis there and we had a very good chat, a really good chat. And we're both very happy today for two reasons. One is the drug and both of our teams won last night, so we're happy for that.
You said that you actually tried mimicking the sensation of having cystic fibrosis by trying to block one nostril and breathe through a straw in the other, and you found it...
Christine and I did the test in a hotel room in Brighton, and we were both given a straw to breathe through for 1 minute, and our nose had to be completely blocked. And it doesn't sound much, but you try it. It's actually very difficult.
I will, actually. I'll do it in a break.
We managed it for 1 minute, and we're sort of looking at each other, sort of, how much longer?
Were you feeling a kind of a visceral panic? Because
yeah,
you couldn't
beginning
yeah.
to think, hang on. We managed it just about, and then you realise this is what cystic fibrosis sufferers have to go through all the time.
So what,
and
I
it's
mean-
a sort of, there's a feeling, well, bit of panic about it. So we got the result we did, which is great, but I think it does mean we've got to look far more carefully about the cost of medicines and the way in which the big companies are overcharging our National Health Service.
So what do you... Yeah, I mean, this is always the case. And the NHS has to negotiate the price with these big companies. I mean, how can they do it when... I mean, presumably the big pharmaceutical companies hold all the cards. Do you just appeal to their better nature?
Well, you can appeal to their better nature, and sometimes better natures prevail, and sometimes you get a result, but it's not a very good way of going on. There is an issue about the ownership of the patents and the manufacture of the drugs.
Right.
And so where there's been a public investment in the research, which there often is, either through universities, medical research council, or whatever, there often is, then I think the public should have an ownership or part ownership of the patent. But it's also a question of generic medicines rather than
Yeah, but you
commercial
can't really
label
do
medicines.
that if they're in America, can you?
No, it's more difficult, but you
Yeah.
can, of course, try and buy into the patent or whatever.
Yeah.
But so I'm also suggesting that the NHS should have the ability
Yeah.
to manufacture its own generic medicines, which would be a lot cheaper. Because the problem for the NHS is they obviously want to treat everybody. That's what they're there for. That's what we buy into with the NHS. But increasingly, because of the cost of drugs like this one being so high, they say, well, NICE simply says we can't really afford that. That means if you've got a lot of money or you can raise a lot of money, you can get the drug, others can't. That's not fair.
Yeah.
Well, that's clear. I guess what we can say is that we've won the battle on this one,
Yep.
but not the war.
Yes, and can I just say that Wales and Northern Ireland are still waiting. We're hoping they've got meetings next week with Vertex, and their NHS England negotiated the same terms.
Right.
So we've been campaigning with families across the UK, so it's not over until they get it.
OK.
Yeah.
And also, there's half of the patients worldwide still don't get this drug, and Vertex don't even try to sell to countries. For example, I got a message from a mum in Poland saying, we'll never have a chance because Vertex don't even try to sell here. New Zealand,
heartbreaking,
Switzerland,
isn't it?
Belgium. It is, because do you know what? A child in Poland is just as needy and worthy as Lewis.
Absolutely.
Yeah.
So we set up the CF Buyers Club, which found generic drugs in Argentina. And I would say to anyone listening from other countries around the world, please contact us on our website. We've got all the contacts, we've got all the information. We will continue helping people all around the world.
Good for you.
This is
Well,
just for us.
you've really worked hard,
future's
haven't
looking
you? It
bright.
must be a relief that you've kind of, to some extent, got your life back. I know you're still involved, but...
Oh, yeah, yesterday I just cried all day. And
bet
when I
you
told Lewis, apart from saying, can I not write any more letters, he went, Mum, what are you going to do with yourself? All you do is campaigning.
Oh, I'm sure you'll find other campaigns.
Yeah. Well, first thought I might get a life, but actually, do you know what? I will continue
Well, Lewis,
campaigning.
I very much look forward to seeing you when you're on it again. And when you're on the entire drug, and does it work immediately, or is there a...
Well, people say within days. They can,
Brilliant.
they can breathe better. The salty taste from the skin goes really quickly. More energy.
Really happy for you.
Thank you. And thank
Really
you
happy.
for the work that you put in. I
well,
personally helped.
Very
Congratulations, young man.
Can we thank everyone that
Thank
supported
you.
the campaign?
Yeah, we
lots,
should.
Yeah,
lots of
indeed.
media outlets did, lots of people
Yes.
did. Christina is a model, a magic campaigner. So
Yeah.
any campaign out there that needs some people...
I think she's got enough of the plate.
You just lost your life again.
But you know,
All right,
that's a good, can I just nip in it? It's so true. Do you know, across the country, families did exactly the same as me. MPs supported people locally, across party. Brilliant. It was like a perfect example of constituency.
Oh, that's
activities.
wonderful.
And the leaders and as you say, the media, everybody. It was brilliant. Great
Taken
team
on
That's
effort.
wonderful. Many
Thank you, Jamie, for
congratulations
your
and
contribution.
really well done.